Welcome. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bam Smith TV. I'm here with another episode. Um, Today we got a personal topic that I want to get into. I want to touch on right quick. It's a solo show today. I'm by myself, so let's see if I got what it takes to make this show a lively one or a good one. Today the topic is loving basketball. Well, not loving basketball in itself. Is modern dating, modern relationships, and what I've learned about it personally, because I feel like my experience might be a little bit unique. Maybe it might be able to help somebody out there. I don't know. So, first thing I want to get into is the reason why I called it loving basketball. Because one thing about it is I have such a love and I'm a student of the game. Like, I'm a student of basketball. You feel me? I played it at one point in time. Anybody that knows me knows that, whatever my journey was with the game of basketball, still love it to this day, still go play pickup, still watch up to the NBA finals. So I think that I can equivalate dating to that sport more so than almost anything else other than business. I could probably equate it to business, even though that seems a little bit more disingenuous, a little bit more hardcore for people. I think that basketball, because it's more of an art form and it's more passion that comes to it, you can equivalate that to a relationship better. So that's why I decided to kind of make it, a play on it, loving basketball. And if anybody's seen that movie, first of all, let me say this. That is a movie about a toxic relationship. Q did not like Monica in the beginning. As a matter of fact, he gave her a scar on her forehead. But they came to like each other through all their trials and tribulations and ups and downs. And eventually, when he tore his ACL and, he found out that his wife wasn't for him, she was in the WNBA. Now, some might look at that little power dynamic and might be like, oh, yeah, he didn't want her until she was doing well and he was down bad. He was still an NBA player at the end of the day. He was still making more than her. So it don't matter about that. It just matters that he had to go through some shit and see that she was down for him in order for him to finally wise up. But she went through some shit too in dealing with him. And I'm pretty sure they didn't come out with a part two. And I'm pretty sure that that's not about real people, even though you can surmise that somebody's probably gone through something like that. I think that is a good place for us to start. So the basics about modern dating, I think, get confused sometimes. I think that we as people, when it comes to personal stuff like that, we don't like to talk about it. We don't like to think about it. And one thing about it is if you don't practice something, you're not going to get good at it. Or if you don't talk about something, there's no way for you to get any information on it. You feel me? Sometimes somebody might have more experience than you or more knowledge on this subject than you. And you talking about it is a place for you to advance your knowledge base and possibly improve in this area. I know me, I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. And even when it comes to relationships, I know that, it's even though as hard as I try, and everybody knows me, knows that I give it 110% all day long to any relationship that I'm getting into, whether it's friendship, business, or like personal romantic relationships. I try to get at my all. And like I say, I might not know what I need to know at that time, but I'm always willing to learn and I'm always willing to improve. So that's a good place for us to start. So let me first say relationships, modern dating and relationships. Relationships is something that come as a result of dating, right? But when you're in that process of dating somebody, before you even get to that process, you got to have somewhat of a vision for how you want to see that person, how you want that person to see you in life. So I call that vision phase one. You get into phase one, it's more so about like you like this person, they like you. You feel me? And it's really nothing more than that. That's kind of where you determine in your mind how far it's going to kind of go. A lot of times this is where females might friend zone a guy, or a guy might friend zone a girl and be like, yeah, like, I'm not attracted to you on that level, but we can be cool because I like you as a person. Sometimes, the majority of the time, when you first meet a person, like what you want to be with them, kind of. If you want to pursue them romantically or you just want to keep them in that box. And then after that, I would say depending on each party's situation, like if you got the time to deal with this person, or you know, whatever the case may be, you get into step two, which is that engagement level. You feel me? And then that engagement level gonna tell you a lot about you and that person and how compatible you are and where you're gonna be. You feel me? Like how y'all gonna work out or whatever. And that's before you get to relationships. This is just the beginning stages of it. Like it's only two steps. It's like you see them, that's that attraction, that vision, phase one. You know, they like you, that you like them. And then step two is engagement. How y'all gonna interact with each other, how y'all gonna date. Some people might call that phase the talking phase, but the talking and dating phase is one and the same to me. So, you know, when you get into that area, you look at it in that perspective or that sense, you start to see where a lot of people fuck up. A lot of people fuck up in both of those parts because sometimes, you know, when somebody sees somebody that they don't see as being with romantically, but they can get a free ride out of them, or they can get a meal out of them, you know, so far as the females go, more oftentimes they're the ones that try that, or you know, or the dude see a female that might he could come up on her because she might not have as high self-esteem or high confidence, or he can get some pussy out of her because of those same reasons, you know. In that vision process, people don't really understand it. People don't understand what they're looking for a lot of the times. So that's how they get into these situations where they're like, oh, this person wasted my time, that person wasted my time. Me personally, I've kind of always kind of talked to people that I wanted to be with, or, you know, I thought wanted to be with me. So I don't really consider it a waste of time. I don't consider any time when you learn something a waste of time. I think that it becomes a waste of time when you exert more than what that person is exerting, and they have never had any intention on meeting you or matching you or reciprocating the energy that you've been putting out. I think that that's when people might feel like also when there's wasted time. There's no one size fit all scenario for any of these cases. That's another thing that I want to say about what I've learned about the dating and relationship phase of shit, right? It's no one size fits all. Us human beings are social creatures. We like to interact. We like to talk. Um, we try to get along with each other. But in us being social creatures, we have to understand when socially we're not right to deal with somebody, right? When you got some emotional baggage or some shit that you're dealing with, you try to bring it into the relationship, or you try and bring it into your connection with somebody else. That other person gonna feel that. You feel me? So well, that's another thing what I've learned. I think that a lot of situations you got to kind of fix yourself before you try to be with anybody else, or you might find yourself trying to fix somebody else. You feel me? And you can't do that either. People gotta want things for themselves. They gotta want to be better. They gotta want to have and establish a healthy connection with somebody in order for shit to work. Also, so you know, I just was kind of throwing all of that stuff out there. The important thing to remember: you're signing up for being on somebody's team, essentially. You feel me? Y'all both on the same team. Y'all signing up to play for the Miami Heat, right? Who gonna be the star player? Somebody gonna be the star player, somebody gonna be the role player. You feel me? Because the role player is gonna support the star player just as much as the star player is gonna help support the team. But at the end of the day, some of you gonna have to pick a role. Whether she's the star player, you the star player, or one of y'all say, fuck it, I don't want to be a player at all. I want to be the head coach, the GM, or the owner, or whatever. It just all depends on your role in the situation and how you want it to work. You feel me? That's really how I view it. I think that I'm trying to, or I want to say that we should all encourage each other to seek healthy relationships. And anytime when you involve yourself with somebody, make sure that you are fit and ready to be able to deal with that person. So that's what I'm gonna say about that. Um, Also, another thing, dating multiple people or talking to multiple people at one time. I used to frown upon that shit. I used to be like, you know, only talk to me and talk to me only. You feel me? And I think that creates an environment of a lot of pressure. I feel like sometimes we willingly do that, but because we want to focus on one thing at a time, and this is true, but to each his own. If a person's not giving you what you need on an emotional level, on a physical level, or if you superficial on a financial level, then you have the right, you have the power. You're a sentient human being. You have your own thoughts and emotions and feelings. You can seek whatever the hell you want to see. You can talk to whoever the hell you want to talk to. You feel me? It's on that person to kind of meet you where you at in a way, as long as it's reasonable. If a girl's like talking to you and she be like, "Oh, I want you to have $1 million," you know, maybe that person's not the one for you because she's more into that material lifestyle. You should seek what the correct thing I think is financial stability or being financially stable or working toward the point of financial stability is something that is more of a reasonable thing for either party to look for. I think men should look for that in a female as well. Like, you don't want to wind up catching a bill. You feel me? Girl ain't got no job. You constantly supporting her and this and the third. Or she just always look to you for help, and you're supporting her. You're working however much you're working. And that's included in the light bill and rent. I'm not saying at some point you shouldn't provision and provide for the woman. Yeah, that's after you've been together for years and you know that this person is much invested into the situation as you are. But early on, you shouldn't find yourself allocating money to pay for this bill or this other person. You feel me? Things should be casual but intentional. You get me? I think that that's one thing that I learned, or that's another major thing that I learned about relationships. Things should be very casual but very intentional. Um, and that goes back to that point when I'm saying, like, it's all about what you're looking for. Uh, what else I want to say? Yeah, and it all depends on cut them off. But anyways, like again, it all depends on what you're looking for. You know, we know as individuals what is courtesy or what's being considerate. You know what's being considerate. It, I mean, I hear a lot of times people say chivalry is dead. Chivalry is dead because a lot of, and I hope this don't come off the wrong way. A lot of females is inconsiderate. You hold the door open, some of them just walk through it and think that they're entitled to you doing that. You feel me? I think that being considerate is the way to continue to get somebody to reciprocate a certain energy. You feel me? Without that, then that person's gonna feel like they've been tried or they've been played, and that's when you kind of get into them situations of a person might talk to you crazy in response to that. So you got that going on for you too. You know, seeing Ellie said, by the way, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you, Ellie, for tuning in as well. Cut them off on to the next. I guess, and that's one way to look at it. I don't know if I particularly would say, cut them off. I believe in giving a person room to grow, room to become something. I say that you give them a certain amount of time to kind of find a place. And then if they're not growing into that role or they're not becoming who you see that their potential is like, because we all see potential in somebody. I think females and men, we all try to see potential in somebody, and we all try to play Captain Save a Hole, Captain Save a Nigga. So, which can be to our detriment a lot of the times. But still, I still believe in people deserve chances and people deserve room to grow. So, I wouldn't particularly, in my case, cut a person off immediately. I would give them some room to grow. And if they're not growing and I see that, it's a wrap. Yeah. Yeah. You hit the nail on the head. Rope really short, a really, really short rope. You give a person a really, really short rope, depending on, I guess, your output. Depending on how hard you're going, you give that motherfucker a really, really short rope to kind of get to a point where, y'all is somewhat on an equal level. It's never going to be 50-50. I think that 50-50 myth is all bullshit. It's never going to be equal. Somebody always going to be doing more than the other one. So it's always going to be kind of like 60-40 or 55-45 or whatever breakdown that you want to put for it. But somebody's going to always be putting forth a little bit more effort than the other person. The most important thing is that person cannot be putting forth zero effort. You get me? That other person cannot be putting forth zero effort and you putting forth 180, 70, 20, 30, none of that. You got to kind of match that. You got to kind of make that ratio make sense. If they putting forth zero, you put forth maybe 5 or 10. If they putting forth 20, you put forth probably 40, 45. You kind of want to ratio it out. It all depends on that person and how much you like them, how much effort you're going to put forth. So you got that going on. Hold on, let me see. Somebody commented on Facebook. I think that whoever's tuning into the live on Facebook, you go to the YouTube channel, Bam Smith TV all together, so I can see your comments and post them directly on the screen. Because if you commenting on Facebook, I gotta literally manually go over to Facebook. I was all right, D. This nigga funny. Anyways, I'm not gonna get into how good or how not good, the people I know and myself are at the sport of basketball. Just know that we still go to the court today, nigga. I bust a lot of you niggas' asses still. But anyways, back to the topic at hand. Dating and relationships are a lot like the sport of basketball. They're a lot just like sports in general because it takes teamwork. Teamwork make the dream work at the end of the day. What else I want to say? I'm not going to be on this too long by myself because, I'm not getting really a lot of interactions from y'all to keep me going. But, like I said, I need y'all to comment. I need y'all to give me that fuel to keep going. Until then, if not, then we're going to make this real short and to the point. You feel me? Okay. And I wrote down a lot of this shit, so I wouldn't lose my place, so I wouldn't lose my train of thought on any of these topics. Another important thing that can't be underrated. How you meet somebody is almost just as important as making time for them, or not making time for them, but how you see them. You feel me? It plays into that how you see them. If you meet a person, you feel me, just like a random person out in a club or, out at Publix or Winn-Dixie and shit like that, you don't kind of have no prior information or knowledge about them. So it's kind of going to take a little bit of time for you to become comfortable with that person. But if you know them for a little while, then, more than likely you can get to a point with them where, you know, you got some comfortability in a relative short order. You feel me? Or if you spent a lot of time with them after you met them, you know, but I still think that it all depends on how you meet them, where you meet them at, is what, you know, it's going to determine how you see them. You feel me? So I think he said, but there is a me and team. I never said that there was no I in team, but I guess you drew that point from it. There's a me in that motherfucker. Yeah. Kobe said that. Definitely a me and team. Either Kobe or Jordan said that. I don't remember. Both of them probably said that shit. Uh, yeah, I think that that's a very selfish way to look at it, you know. But you can look at it that way. You feel me? Again, like I said, this whole process, the thing that I want people to pull from this live, if not anything else, is that the modern dating is tough. Somebody said it's piss in the dating pool or some shit like that. You keep hearing that shit. It's tough. You feel me? But at the same time, it is a learning process, it's a growing process, and it's nothing wrong with talking about it, popping your shit in, you know, a healthy way. It's a healthy way to have discourse. You know, you wouldn't say a lot of the shit if a lot of the shit people say online, they wouldn't say if the person was right there in front of their face, or, you know, if they had to talk about the person that they was talking about, like, or referencing to their face. It depends on how much that person hurt them or not. But again, like I say, back to my other point, you know, you got to kind of fix yourself before you get into this dating shit, or, you know, you gonna be the one pissing in the dating pool. So you cool with knowing a female you talking to like four niggas? Yeah, she talk to many niggas she want to, because at the end of the day, I know, and I am comfortable in myself enough to know that out of those four niggas, all four of them just gonna be trying to fuck. Me, personally, I ain't that thirsty. I would like to. It would be in her best interest. I mean, it would build our connection, but at the same time, if it happens, it happens. If it don't happen, or if she string it out or whatever, I'm gonna be like, all right, bitch, I'm cool. Get out my face. You know what I mean? So it's, I say I ain't one of them thirsty niggas, so it don't really bother me who she talk to. You feel me? Just if I know, then I know where to put her. I know where to be like, all right, like, okay, you want to, okay, let them take you out, let them pay for the meal, let them do all of that shit like that. So I think that that's why the females say that, or the females that I've met say that they comfortable, or they would rather talk to one person at a time. I think that that's why they say that, because they know that in their mind, if this nigga know that I'm talking to more than one nigga at a time, his interest is gonna lower for me, or his attraction for me is gonna be lower. You feel me? And he's not gonna try as hard, because he's gonna think in his mind, oh, I got so many other dudes taking up my attention, or taking up my time, or taking up, and that's a real thought too. And I really do be having it. I be thinking like, okay, well, maybe Bernard is taking up her attention or energy today. Maybe let me fall back. You feel me? And I'll keep falling all the way back to the point where I'll fall out your life. I'll fall out your face. You won't hear from me like that no more. You feel me? If you hit me up, you hit me up. I'm gonna talk to you. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be cool. Right? You know, I act like ain't nothing. I don't feel nothing, or I don't see nothing, or I ain't thinking about shit. But at the end of the day, I know in my mind that, you know, Bernard probably dicking you down, or Bernard probably taking up your energy, and that's why you don't have no time to reciprocate the energy that I put out. But again, like I say, that's because I am I have an intention when I'm talking to a dating a female that is more in line with, you know, what she, or what she would say that she wants. She would say she wants a relationship. So my intention is to be in a relationship or work toward that. You feel me? I don't think that most people are doing it, because we all, at the end of the day, we all are selfish. We all think we the center of our own universe. We all think that we are, you know, that nigga or that bitch. You feel me? We think that everybody's just gonna want to fuck with us just because we are we. You feel me? So yeah, I don't think like that, is what I'm saying. if I'm happy, we happy. Okay. Another way to look at it. They all might fuck. You crazy. They got United States smash her. Boy, Ellie, boy, the English language kicks your ass. I be trying to tell you, but you don't gotta rush to type it, bro. Take your time. If I'm talking to her, ain't she better not be talking to her? Oh, I was just saying that. If I'm talking to a female, it would behoove her, or it would be in her best interest for for me and her to be just talking to each other. But at the end of the day, if I'm not, if I'm not what she wants, then I'm not gonna say, oh, listen, you can only talk to me and only me. If I'm not what you want, find somebody else. Is what I was saying by, oh yeah, we get to. I'm not trying to hold nobody down from exploring the options. No, if I'm not what you want, find somebody else. That's how I look at it. And I think that we should all look at it like that. And again, like I said, in the talking part of this stuff or whatever, or the talking part of when you first meet a person, I had no problem with her, evaluate or talking to multiple guys, because they already got. You don't know who she knew before she met you. You don't know what the situation was before she met you. But same for the female. You don't know what the situation was before he met you. You don't know how many females he was talking to or who he was dealing with before he met you. So you got to kind of come into that with an open mind. Like, okay, this person might be talking to this person or talking to that person. You feel me? Before I met him. So, it's just depending on how we click. If you click, you click. Then at that point, when you click, then maybe you should kind of dial it back on or fall back off them other people. Because them other people was talking to you before you met this person, and they wasn't giving you what you wanted then. So now you find somebody that is giving you more of what you want. You kind of want to, it would be in your best interest, or it would be more wise to fall back off them other people, because that person's going to notice. You feel me? And they're going to be like, oh, okay, you might fuck up what you got going on with somebody else that's good by fucking with somebody else. So again, don't run with one part of what I said. Listen to the whole totality of what I said, and then use your brain to think, you feel me, about what other conclusions you could draw from it. Again, like I say, this whole dating shit and this whole show, like I tell you, dating and relationships are a collaborative process. You feel me? And it takes time to grow into it. You feel me? It's a learning process. It's basically what I'm saying. She better not be talking to the next nigga. And there you go. So you might act different because your instinct see the BS. Yeah, I was just saying that basically, if she is, it's not that she better not. It's if she is, you're gonna notice, you're gonna pick up on it, and then you're gonna fall back. So you can't tell somebody what they can and can't do. I'm a believer in that. You cannot be a person that you think you could tell another grown individual what they can and can't do. The same way when that grown individual gets fucked up from dealing with somebody or traumatized from dealing with somebody, you can't be the one to fix them. They have to be the one to fix themselves. Again, we pour our own troubles when we got our own bottle of liquor and shit like that. We pour our own troubles, bro, at the end of the day. You feel me? So whatever you're dealing with on a personal level, you create your own reality. You set up the dynamic for how people are going to treat you. You feel me? Or you set up the dynamic for how you want you and somebody else to treat each other. If they're doing a behavior and you try to talk with them about it, you feel me? Give them some time to understand where you're coming from and change it or adjust it. I ain't gonna say change it completely. People are like, oh, you telling people to change who they is to fit with? No, I'm not saying that. If they have a negative behavior and you tell them, like, say for instance, a negative behavior, a person who claims to always have something going on or something they dealing with, but they don't want to talk to you about it. You feel me? They don't want to let you know, hey, Like this is what I'm going through. You feel me? They don't have to tell you exactly what they're going through or exactly what they're dealing with. But at the same time, just let you know that they in a fucked up position right now. And, you know, if I'm acting like this, bear with me. You feel me? I'm not being myself. I know me, I'm normally jovial and happy with you because when you met me, I was jovial and happy. But, I'm dealing with a lot of personal issues right now with the family. And, you know, I'm gonna make time for you at some point in time. That's real. You gotta respect that. But like I say, it's that's the only thing you can tell somebody about is their negative behavior towards you. You feel me? Or you can advise them on negative behavior that might cause them to have an unhealthy relationship in general. But you can't tell nobody, oh yeah, they better not do this or they better not do that. You feel me? We grown. So you can tell them what to do, but if they listen, okay, Ellie, you their daddy. You these females' daddy. Feel me? You notice I be putting your shit up and taking your shit right off the screen, nigga. But you be saying some bullshit sometimes. But I can't wait to have this nigga on the show, y'all, by the way. This goofy ass nigga, Ellie. You see how I'm kind of somber right now? How I'm kind of like chilling and laid back and shit like that? If there's one person that can get me to be cursing and yelling and talking shit and going back and forth, is this motherfucker. Because this nigga be saying some stupid ass shit to me. But some people might like it. You know? Yep. Yep. But, yeah. I mean, this is pretty much what I learned so far. I ain't come on here to bash men or women. I ain't come on here to offer my expert advice as a clinical psychologist or a therapist about, what's the name of that shit again? What that girl said, expanding your emotional vocabulary. I'm not, you know, we human beings at the end of the day, we're learning, we're growing. You feel me? All I'm just telling you is, work on yourself a little bit before you get into a relationship. And when you get into a relationship or when you're talking to somebody, try to make sure that you're establishing a healthy connection with that person. And it's tough again in the modern dating world because it's so much. Social media has such a great impact on relationships. Um, the male and female spaces where they talk to each other and they kind of agree on ideas is kind of good but bad. I think that females having a person that they can go to or people that they can go to and talk about how they feel, why they feel, and what they feel is great. But it's a problem when they reinforce certain toxic behaviors that continue to add to the divide between men and women. And I think that the same can be said about men. When we, as men now, are getting spaces where we can go talk to each other. You feel me? We're becoming more open about how we feel or what we think. I just think that it's important for people to kind of let those spaces be. You feel me? And let those spaces grow in a healthy way. You feel me? You know if it's healthy or not. Because I want to say this. The whole Andrew Tate thing, I think that one of the reasons why he got banned or one of the reasons why people seen him as being a misogynist or unhealthy individual for men in general is because of his approach to the conversations that he was talking about. I think that overall, what he was talking about for men was a net positive so far from a motivational standpoint. Now, females, on the other hand, I've seen him talk highly of females and positive of females, and I've heard him say some outlandish, crazy shit. But I think he says that for entertainment, just like Charleston White. I think that a lot of social media personalities understand that you would not listen to them if they was boring. You see me, I have 3 viewers. I'm talking logical, common sense shit. I am trying to come up with a balanced and reasonable conversation about this topic at hand, which is modern dating. I'm not yelling. I'm not jumping off the table. I'm not calling all women bitches and hoes and niggas lazy bums incels. You feel me? So it might not get as much as attention as somebody that's flying off the handles and, being wild with their hand gestures and loud with their voice and shit like that. Right now, it's 11 o'clock at night, too, almost 12 o'clock in the morning. And I don't feel like being like that as well. But I'm sure when I start to get more people in here and we start to get the conversations going, they're going to be more regaling. You're going to get to see a lot more personality in me and my guests. Because my guests that I've had on so far, I think that for the most part, everybody has been interesting and intriguing in their own way. And appreciate you guys for coming on as well. Okay. G shit, though, I tell people what to do all the time, bro. Some people listen, some people don't. I'm going to let that one sit on the screen for a little minute, Ellie. Now, I'm going to give you a chance to think about that statement. You tell people what to do all the time, and sometimes they listen and sometimes they don't. Let that sit on the screen for a second. Most women just going to drag women down, and you got niggas on here using propaganda talking about high value can fuck and fuck plenty of women. Yeah, high value can fuck plenty of women and using their lamps for a check. Oh, Lambos. You mean Lambo, but you put lamps. Okay. Or using their lamps for a check. I don't know what the fuck you mean by using their lamps for a check. I thought I understood, but I don't. But I get the first little part of what you're saying. You got women going to drag other women down and men using high value propaganda and shit like that. Yeah, that's true. That's very, very true. Is there more? Or is that all you wanted to say about that? Because I feel like that's not a complete thought. Because I think that you're going to always have grifters as a part of society in general. You always have people trying to get over. That's the nature of the beast, bro. You give a motherfucker an inch, they going to always take a mile. So that's always going to exist. It's just that society, and I don't always want to blame it on social media, but society at large, people is like monkey see, monkey do. You feel me? When they see somebody doing something, they got to do the same shit. You feel me? Like it's very few thinkers. There's very few people that think for themselves today. You know what I mean? And that's women and men. So I think that that's how you create those spaces. But again, like you got to kind of take the good with the bad because at least they have a place to talk. You feel me? So that's how I view it. Oh, okay, that's what you mean. Women using men using these lames for a check. Okay. So your complete thought was most women just gonna drag women down, and you got niggas using propaganda talking about high value and can fuck plenty of women and using them and using lames for a check. Okay, so basically what you're saying is guys that preach high value or talk about how much money they have are being used for a check. Yeah. Yeah, my phone sometimes. Yeah, it does. Probably you probably don't spell it right. Maybe you thought about that. Usually, that's what autocorrect is for. Or auto spelling is for. You probably don't spell it right, or you use it in the wrong sentence, and the phone tries to correct you. Phone tries to help you. Yeah, I mean that's a whole nother topic though. We could talk about all day long how a sucker's born every day. Like I say, men and women, it's a sucker born every day. I say more men are being used for suckers than women because women kind of clever about that shit, early on. But yeah, it's a sucker born every day, my nigga. So I kind of don't try to focus on the negative aspect of this. You feel me? What I'm trying to provide right now is solutions. Modern problems require modern solutions. So that's an important thing I want you to remember what I'm trying to talk about right now. We can identify these problems all day long, but we got to also talk about the solution. So what's another problem that needs solving when it comes to the dating thing? Hmm. I could say more, but I don't think you want to read all a whole thought. Now I read a whole thought again. Like I say, you know, go to YouTube, whoever on Facebook and Twitch, go to YouTube and type out, post a comment. You know, it's great if it's in a live stream. You know, you're the only person that's commenting right now. So I got all day long to read your thoughts. Feel me? Well, not all day long, probably another 15 minutes. I'm gonna stop this shit. But yeah, I read your shit. It depends on if it's in between my talking points or not. And right now, I kind of got to all my talking points, you feel me? For the most part. I could get in depth with it, but I think that I would save my in depth shit because I was gonna equivalate. I can equivalate dating to free agency or being drafted. I could pull up a bunch of different what they call it, anonyms and shit for dating and basketball. I was gonna get into all of that, but I'm pretty sure y'all can surmise from the conversation that dating and relationships and all of that shit is teamwork, and everybody got their own separate roles, and you need to decide what role you want to do, and you need to exceed that, and you need to give uh, effort and value to that team in order for that team to work. So that's the whole teamwork basketball, loving basketball section of it is what I'm trying to put out. Here is one banned all sexual content on social media. Okay. But what does that got to do with, you think that it desensitizes people? You think that, you know, females posting thirst traps on Instagram and men posting money on Instagram is sometimes some type of way desensitizing people to be with another person? Could that be what you mean by that? I don't know. I'm trying to see how, it makes sense. Ass out, breast out, band. Hell, but I like seeing when they got their ass out and they breast out on IG. Why would we take that away? That's them exposing their gifts. I'm joking, of course. I'm joking. I'm joking. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that as a whole, social media is something that we got to realize is a tool. I think that at our phone, we have to realize it is a tool. The apps that we have on it are other tools that we are using to socially interact with each other. But at the end of the day, you got to happen in real life. You got to learn how to communicate and deal with people in real life. I don't know. I don't know if the social media monster is as big or as little as a lot of people make it out to be. Because for me, in my mind, I just see it as a tool, uh, and I think that you know some people might be a little bit too much into it, too into it, yeah, and that could play an effect, and that could cause you know a lot of the problems that we have today. But oh yeah, maybe I should say that. Maybe I should definitely say that to people. Yeah, it's important to know that it's a tool, and how you use it is what you're gonna get out of it at the end of the day. If you on social media and you want to see nothing but ass and titties, you follow all the Instagram models. That's all you're gonna see. If you want to see artists doing their art, if you want to connect with your friends from high school, if you want to meet new people on there and share information and shit like that, like you can do that too. It's all on what you do with it. You feel me? At the end of the day. So, that's what I want to say about social media. And I think that, yeah, it is affecting a lot of us in a negative way because we don't see it as that. A lot of us don't see it as anything. We just see it as Instagram. Instagram is Instagram. Facebook is Facebook. Twitter is Twitter. We don't see it as Instagram is an app on our phone. We know it is, so we don't see it as that. You feel me? And that can cause us to kind of get lost in it at times. Like, I don't know. I don't know what is something like that where people can get lost in it. Politics. Politics is something that people can get lost in. Anything that you base your identity on heavily, you can get lost in. Anything that you base your identity on heavily. And I think that that's the target of social media. It's because it gives us that dopamine release when we see a like, when we see a comment. I think that that's what makes it so addictive or intriguing. And I think that that's a way that it can have so many negative effects on our lives. But at the end of the day, it can only have the effect that you intended to have. You feel me? I'm not into giving that cop out excuse that social media is the only reason why we are the way that we are, or dating is as tough as it is today. It definitely increased the difficulty level of it, yes, for sure. But you know, even with that, there's people online talking about it all day long. So just the same way it increased the difficulty level, it made it easier for a lot of guys who don't have any experience or don't have any knowledge about dating to go get knowledge on it. So, again, like I say, it's a tool. You feel me? People just don't use it properly. So anytime when you misuse tools, a lot of people get fucked up. Can you imagine if I'm trying to think of a tool that could be misused because there's so many of them that could be misused without being too crazy. Can you imagine if you use a garbage disposal um, in your sink the wrong way, right? Can you imagine if you use the garbage disposal as like a garbage can? Your kitchen gonna always stink. You feel me? Because you always throwing the food in there instead of throwing it in the garbage. You feel me? And I'm not sure if that's exactly how garbage disposal works. Well, dishwasher, you know what the fuck I mean. You use a tool the wrong way, people will get hurt. It's going to have a negative effect. All right? That's all I mean. God. It's bigger. Social media is mean problems to everybody. Clout is a drug. It's the main thing. Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It give you that dopamine release. That dopamine is like it's like being on drugs. You feel me? It's addictive. But again, it's a tool. You can't misuse it. When you're misusing a tool, it's gonna have that effect. It's just like marijuana, right? I'm not saying marijuana is a tool, but marijuana is kind of a conduit for your pleasure. You feel me? You want to. It's healthy in moderation. You feel me? But anytime when you overdo something, it's always going to be a negative effect. So I think that a lot of times people overdo shit, and that's what creates the negative effect on society that we have today. Because think about how many billions of people are participating in these different platforms. It's billions of people participating in them every day. So it's impossible for everybody to use it correctly or or use it efficiently. I think that the vast majority of people as a whole, is like I say, monkey see, monkey do. Everybody want to be something that they're not because they see somebody online being something bigger than them. It's the nature of us as human beings, you know, like we look at something that we want and we can't have at that moment in time. Instead of us being patient and just working toward it, we at first initially we get jealous, we get upset. You feel me? And I think that that's what creates that ambition in some people. They recognize that they jealous or they recognize that they upset immediately, and they say that, man, I could get that same shit too if I work harder, and then they work toward it. So, but I think there's a lot of people that aren't built like that. Again, like I say, that's a small minority of people that their mind might be wired like that. They might see something and it might trigger them to grind because they're competitive. But I think that some people, it might have a negative effect on them. They might see that shit and they might be like, oh, why that motherfucker got that and I don't? You feel me? And instead of them saying that, oh, I'm capable of getting it, they're going to look at it and they're going to say why they got it and I don't. They're going to focus on the problem instead of focusing on the solution. You feel me? And that's what's going to cause them to stay stagnant on the same spot. And like I said, that's what's going to have a negative effect on their real life relationships. Just from them going, just from them looking at a post of somebody with a Lamborghini and a Ferrari and they don't got one. Nigga, I don't want none of that shit. I don't give a fuck if I get it. You know what I mean? What I want is a level of generational wealth and financial stability to where I can take care of my family and my loved ones. That's what's more important to me. I think that that's the should always be the focus. You know what I mean? Like, again, if I get the car that I want in my dreams, oh yeah, that'd be great. That'd be amazing. That'd be cool. But if somebody else got it, I'm happy. I'm interested. I'm talking to them about it. I'm trying to find out, how much they spent on it, what parts they got on it. You feel me? Like on some real shit. Now I might say little sneak disses or jokes to be funny and shit like that. But in reality, I'm happy for somebody that achieving their goals and being successful. Nigga, fuck you. Give a damn if you're on Elden Ring. The fuck? Why did we need to know that information, Ellie? What did that have to do with what the fuck we talking about right now? This is the shit I be talking about. Yeah, I'm gonna get off of the. I'm gonna get offline because you be saying some goofy ass shit. But you know what? Tomorrow, and I know that I've been off. I've been off for 2 weeks for doing a podcast. But tomorrow, y'all, I want y'all to tune in because I'm gonna do another show. Right? In my other show, I don't know. We might go into and talk about something. Hold on. I'm gonna tell you right now. How do you want to be remembered? That plays into the point that I was just making about social media. Tomorrow we're gonna talk about how do you want to be remembered. Okay, so y'all tune in for that. I'm gonna try and do it earlier so it ain't as late as this, so y'all could kind of, the people that's awake at that time can kind of interact and tap in with it. You feel me? So tomorrow, y'all tap in at around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. I say 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Y'all tap in. But yeah, this has been another episode of Bam Smith TV. Thank you for tuning in. Good night.